Right now at 6, reports of an explosion draws first responders to a house in Chanute.
And we've got a bitterly, if not dangerously cold start to the day. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a biogas proposal in Ottawa County shows the potential for chicken waste.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, January the 21st, and we are moving. It's got to be your tea. I smell something fresh.
Oh,
I
hopefully
think it's the tea.
It's my tea.
I hope it's the tea. It's either that or somebody has hosed down the studio.
Oh,
which
that'd
would be
nice.
Cool. Yeah.
That'd be great.
I mean, hey, it's almost 75 years old. You know, it's definitely got that old studio smell.
Yeah. It certainly does.
It does. Not that it's bad. I'm just saying. Like you go into an older home and you know what it smells. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So it's not bad though, and it's a good day to be inside. It's actually pretty warm in here, which is rare, especially considering how cold it is outside. Let's take a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. It looks all right, but again, it's one of those things where it is definitely not feeling all right. As temperatures bitterly cold. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also looking pretty good this morning as well. Not doing too bad, at least in terms of roads. Roads are clear. That's helpful, right? Absolutely. Certainly is. And the KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue just south of Pittsburgh also looking good. So here's what we have. Cold weather advisories. Again, these replace wind chill warnings and things of that nature. They're across the entire area, obviously. Most of us, they run until noon today. Oklahoma, Arkansas, they run until 10 a.m. And they are for those dangerously cold wind chills, which we're going to show you where they sit right now here in just a moment. First, though, sunny skies, southwest breeze 5 to 10. The southwest breeze, even that light breeze, is going to be enough that most of our day we're going to keep our wind chills back into the teens, maybe even in the single digits in some cases. We will eventually make the low to mid 20s for most of us as we end the afternoon. However, see, 4-hour gap there, how these temperatures didn't really change much. Many of us, I think, are going to hit our lows for tonight, probably somewhere between 5 and 7 this evening, and then temperatures are going to level off. That's the one benefit to this southwest breeze, is it does bring in warmer air. Not overly noticeable, but it will be bringing that in and now to play a role in warmer temperatures later this week. 1 in Joplin, 1, 2 in Pittsburgh. I feel like we're on Sesame Street and we're with the count, learning how to count because that's how some of these numbers are. 0 in Nevada, then we go below 0, which I don't know if Sesame Street covered that, but these aren't the feels like. These are the actual air temperatures. 3 below 0 in Fort Scott, 1 below Parsons, Neodesha, Yates Center, Sedan, 2 below 0 in Iola. Then you factor in even a light breeze. These wind chills have improved a little, but not significantly. Virtually everyone, with few exceptions, wind chills below 0, upwards of 10. We've seen them as high as almost 20 below 0 this morning. So kids going on the bus, you got to keep them warm. Whatever way you can, keep them warm this morning. Keep them in the car if you can. Keep them in the house at the bus stops right in front of your house, or maybe even take them to school today because it's going to be very cold. We're talking single digits to start, clear skies, calm or light winds. By this afternoon, though, sunny, 20, southwest breeze 5 to 10. And again, our highs today heading for the upper teens and low 20s. Now, as I mentioned, the winds are going to play some benefits for us, but they're also going to make things a little more uncomfortable as they increase overnight tonight into Thursday or Wednesday. We'll go over all of those details with you, plus some wintry weather that may be on the horizon here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. An explosion draws first responders to a house in Chanute. The report came in early yesterday afternoon to the Chanute Fire Department. Emergency crews dispatched to the 600 block of West 16th for a report of a structure fire with a possible explosion. The state fire marshal was called to investigate. We'll have more information as it develops on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. While love might soon be in the air for some, others will use Valentine's Day as an excuse to steal more than someone's heart. The Better Business Bureau wants to warn people ahead of the holiday that scammers use online dating and social media to take advantage of people looking for love. Pamela Hernandez, the regional director for the BBB office, says always be aware of red flags.
So a couple of very common red flags that consumers tell BBB about are folks who are, well, too hot to be true. I say a lot with online shopping. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And the same thing applies to dating online. Also, someone who's in a hurry to get off the dating platform and they can't meet. Either they can't or they won't. There's some reason they can't meet you in person.
We have more information on how to protect yourself on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And a company hopes to create a facility using chicken waste to produce a methane-based gas in Ottawa County. But the possibility is drawing concerns from residents and environmental groups alike. The facility would bring in more than 160,000 tons of litter from local farmers a year, creating renewable natural gas, liquid fertilizer, and solid fertilizer. Environmental agencies say they worry about smell, air pollution, and ground and water contamination.
You want a clean place, you want a safe place to live, and that's what we've had for many, many years. And we don't want to see that change.
We'll have it in an engineered solution where we're not going to have a lot of runoff, and in reality we'll have probably a lot less than the way these materials are stored now.
Ottawa County residents are encouraged to submit public comments to the DEQ. You can find a link to that on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Vanguard agrees to pay investors millions for not notifying them about changes that impacted their tax rates. Plus, President Donald Trump officially starts his first full day back in office. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Nothing Bun Cakes will soon require stores to be open on Sundays. The bakery chain had given franchise owners the option of being closed on Sundays, but corporate reversed policies in the past year to require all stores be open a minimum of 5 hours on Sundays starting in February. Now, some franchisees are not happy, saying the option to close on Sundays was a deciding factor in choosing to invest in the franchise. Nothing Bun Cake said it would consider exceptions for stores open longer than 6 months. However, so far store owners say requests for exceptions have been ignored or not granted. New franchise contracts include the new rule. The federal budget deficit will be close to $2 trillion this year. That's according to projections from the Congressional Budget Office. The CBO says the country's deficit will be $1.9 trillion to be exact. It says federal debt will go up to 118% of GDP by the year 2035. The agency predicts over the next 2 years, economic growth will slow down and inflation will also head downwards. The projections come as Republicans plan to drastically upend federal cash flow trends. One of the largest mutual fund companies in the U.S. agreed to pay investors $106 million. The issue is with changes Vanguard made to its investor target retirement funds. Those changes resulted in larger capital gain taxes for customers who held them in taxable accounts. The Securities and Exchange Commission found that Vanguard made misleading statements in the 2020 and 2021 prospectus for those funds. The changes prompted many institutional investors to move their money out of the funds. But the company was charged with not telling individual retail investors about the changes. The Vanguard agreed to pay $106 million to affected investors. It did not admit wrongdoing. Well, this morning, President Donald Trump is starting his first full day back in office. There's already fallout after Trump signed a flurry of executive actions on issues like immigration, federal workers, and energy his first day back in office. The president also issued pardons for roughly 1,500 people imprisoned on January 6th related crimes. It was a busy day for Trump, who took the oath of office inside the Capitol before attending a whirlwind of inaugural events. Jared Hill has more from Washington.
So help me God. So help me God.
And with that, President Donald J. Trump began his second term. In his speech, he vowed to rescue a nation that he described as in decline.
The golden age of America begins right now.
In the midst of the inaugural parade, moved inside a D.C. arena due to frigid temps, and inaugural balls, where he danced with First Lady Melania Trump. The president signed roughly 200 executive orders, rolling back dozens of Biden-era policies in the process, including pulling the U.S. again out of the Paris Climate Agreement. President Trump also offered clemency to all of the nearly 1,500 people charged or convicted in relation to storming the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
We're going to release our great hostages.
Their supporters demonstrated outside a D.C. jail last night. President Trump is already facing legal challenges over his executive action creating the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, and another that attempts to end birthright citizenship, which is enshrined in the Constitution. Trump also signed an order declaring a national emergency on the southern border and others targeting immigration. Nationwide, cities are already bracing for mass deportations.
People are afraid. People don't want to leave their homes. People don't want to send the kids to school.
Meanwhile, the Senate yesterday approved its first of Trump's cabinet picks, former Florida Senator Marco Rubio, now to be Secretary of State. Jared Hill, CBS News, Washington.
Other executive orders signed by President Trump yesterday include hiring freezes and returned to office mandates for federal workers, as well as a delay of implementation of a law effectively banning TikTok if it doesn't separate from its Chinese-based owner. Now, some of the president's other cabinet nominees, including Defense Secretary hopeful Pete Hegseth and Homeland Security pick Kristi Noem, were advanced out of Senate committees. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
All right, let's see here. Let's see if we can't make this thing work. Well, that's fun. Okay, sorry about that. Sometimes, if you sit down, you sit the wrong way. You turn off your microphone. Either way, we got clear skies, and it is going to stay that way. It is cold as well. We will come back with another look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes.
Well, no one likes losing their possessions, whether it's money, jewelry, or some other item that's important. A woman out to eat with her family in Lebanon, Tennessee, finished their meal and left. But when she got home, she realized she lost an envelope with money inside. Now, she wasn't sure where she dropped it. Amanda Roberts has more on how the woman got that envelope back.
That day, I wasn't having the best day at work. My mind was jumbled up. It was everywhere, and he was a light.
What was supposed to be a peaceful ending to a stressful day turned into anything but. With her young daughter and husband, Lola had dinner at the O'Charlie's in Lebanon. They left, leaving something important behind.
My heart sank when I realized
an envelope with money was missing.
We weren't sure what we were going to do, to be completely honest with you.
Her last resort was to call the restaurant. It wasn't at home, her car, or the baby's diaper bag. She thought the voice on the other end would confirm what she feared. The money was gone. But it was the 18-year-old server who took care of them and their meal, who took care of them again.
Was that the one right there?
Yes, ma'am. So it was actually it was beside that booth behind them. And I just saw it on the ground. And I was surprised that nobody took it by then.
It was in the exact same envelope, untouched. But I was so shocked that, wow, someone who had the opportunity to, when no one was looking, take this and do whatever he needed to do with it. He came forward, and that was very sweet, for us. That money it's a big deal.
18-year-old Nate Affordit is saving up for a car. He's going to college, and he's working 5 days a week.
I work Wednesday nights, free pie Wednesday, of course. Got to work that night.
But even as a teenager, he wasn't tempted.
I didn't think about stealing it. It's just I believe that if you do something wrong will come to you. I give thanks to my mom, of course, my dad. They've always taught me right. They've always taught me to be the light in the dark these days.
Given the opportunity to say thank you.
And we'll be back. We'll be ready. We'll be tired of seeing our face.
Strangers leave as regulars.
Lola posted about getting the envelope back on social media, and that resulted in friends donating some money to Nate as a thank you and gesture of his goodwill. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, it is very cold out there this morning. Kids heading out to school, you want to make sure they are bundled up. We'll have another look at your forecast Talk about some warmer weather and maybe some wintry weather on the way here in just a couple more minutes. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 622 on this Tuesday morning, we're starting with this. This is cold weather advisories across the entire region. The majority of them run through noon today, but Oklahoma, Arkansas, they'll expire at 10 a.m. This is for dangerously cold wind chills going well below zero, which is what we're seeing this morning, and we will show you where they stand at this moment here in just a moment. But first, on to the future track. There's a lot going on. Even though it may not look like it initially, there's some things in play that we're going to actually have as a benefit. Even though it won't be too beneficial today, it will help as we go to tonight and tomorrow. The first not so beneficial thing today, but will be helpful later, is the southwest breeze we'll have at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. By noon, as you can see, we're still bitterly cold, all of us into the teens. Even with a light breeze, it's going to put our wind chills back into the single digits. In fact, our wind chills will be pretty cold through most of today. Even though the winds won't be gusting too much through most of this day, it's going to be enough that's going to make it feel very cold. Now, here's where that becomes a benefit. As we take a look, Tuesday, that's today, 5 p.m. Now watch this as we go 12 hours into the future. Just keep an eye, find your spot, find the city closest to where you are, and watch those temperatures. They don't really do much, do they? Yeah, there may be a flurry or two tonight. I'm not really worried about that at this point. Clouds increase, winds increase tonight. They'll be out of the south gusting upwards of 30, but you notice the temperatures really didn't move. The breeze is bringing in warmer air. We won't be able to really tell at first, but it is bringing in warmer air. So what that means, though, is, yeah, it's still in the 20s tomorrow morning, but we are 20 degrees warmer than where we are right now. So we're starting the day warmer, which will allow us to be a little warmer into the afternoon. Now, yes, it's still cold, but now we're going into the 30s as we head into Wednesday afternoon. Eventually, we'll have that west wind still gusting to 30 miles an hour. It won't ease up until late Wednesday, but it will bring in slightly warmer temperatures. We go into Thursday, another opportunity for some snow showers or a couple of flurries. Nothing significant there either. We'll be a little cooler Thursday, but we will eventually start to warm up again as we head to the weekend, which we'll show you in just a moment. First, though, check out these temperatures. And again, these are not the wind chills. We are starting with the actual air temperature. It is 1 below zero in Iola and Parsons, 2 below zero in Neodesha, Fort Scott, 0 in Yates Center, Sedan, and Independence, and 1 Nevada, Lamar, Stockton. So you can tell all of us, it is very cold out there. And we've got a light and variable breeze out of the north. It's not very much, but when it does pick up, take a look at the wind chills that we're picking up on as that wind blows every so often. We've got up to 11 below zero in Pittsburgh. We have seen these wind chills almost 20 below zero, which is why we have those cold weather advisories, because it is bitterly cold across the area. So as we start the day, bitterly cold. Single digits, maybe even again some of us at 8 a.m., a degree or two below zero. Eventually, low teens by 11 a.m., sunny skies, so it's going to look warm, just won't feel warm. Highs today, upper teens, low 20s, and as I mentioned, many of us will very likely reach our overnight lows as early as 6 or 7 o'clock this evening as temperatures kind of just level out. South winds tonight gusting at 30, that will make for dangerous wind chills into tomorrow morning. Still breezy, but upper 30s, mid-30s Thursday, 40 by Friday, near 50 on Saturday. We are keeping an eye on that possible wintry mix by Sunday. Nothing too crazy yet, but we definitely want to watch it. And we'll warm up again as we head into the next work week. Let's check your forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks. Well, popular weight loss medications have a lot of health benefits, but also some risks. Now, a study by Washington University said in addition to weight loss, the drugs can lower the risk of Alzheimer's, dementia, and even addiction. But the drug also increases the risk for gastrointestinal, kidney, and pancreas problems. 1 in 8 Americans have taken or is currently taking a weight loss medication. While transgender people with autism receive poorer health care than others. A study by Cambridge University found that they were much more likely to have anxiety related to their health care. Overall, trans and autistic people report a worse health care experience than others. These groups also face a much higher risk of suicide. Globally, most people still believe in science. A survey of 68 countries by the University of Zurich found a majority of people see scientists as qualified and honest. More than half of people believe scientists should play a bigger role in public policy. However, in some Western countries, people with right-wing political beliefs had less trust in science than their left-leaning counterparts. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, some folks in Joplin weigh in on their hopes for the next 4 years.
And it is bitterly cold outside, in fact, dangerously cold outside. It will be a little better today with more sunshine. A look at that forecast, get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, the Fort Scott Museum takes a look back on the civil rights movement.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday. It's January the 21st. And we're trucking right along, and spring, of course, not too much further away, which is good because it has been. We did have for most of the winter was pretty mild, honestly.
Yeah, in December for sure, but January is a different
decided
story.
to come back with a vengeance, unfortunately. It's led to dangerously cold temperatures out there, and that's what we've got this morning. Let's start with a look outside in downtown Pittsburgh, and it is we got clear skies. It looks okay, just again, it does not feel okay outside at all. Taking a look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin, also looking good this morning, as is the KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. Cold weather advisories for everybody now. Yesterday there were only a few of them. Now they're all over the place. The majority of them run through noon with the exception of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Those will run through 10 o'clock this morning, and that is for wind chills upwards of 20 to 25 below zero, which we've already been seeing. Now, here's the thing. The winds are relatively calm. They're light, okay, out of the north. It's not been anything major, but with as cold as it is enough to lead to those dangerous wind chills. By this afternoon, not much warming taking place. Even though we're going to have plentiful sunshine, it will not get much warmer than where we were yesterday. Teens for everybody, just about everybody by noon. We're going to have a southwest wind at 5 to 10. It's going to keep our wind chills in the teens in single digits. So yeah, it's going to make it feel colder, but it's going to play a huge role in changing some things for us over the next couple of days, because between 4 and 8 p.m. this evening, temperatures not really moving much. Winds begin shifting out of the south. In fact, we're very likely going to reach our lows for tonight, many of us, as early as 7, 8 o'clock this evening when temperatures level out. 1 in Joplin, 2 in Pittsburgh, and around the region. Oh man, just absolutely bitterly cold. Now these are the current temperatures, not the wind chills. It is 2 below zero in Neodesha and Fort Scott, 1 below in Parsons and Iola. So you get the idea. It is bitterly cold out there. And then when you factor in that light breeze, when it does pick up from time to time, feels like 11 below zero in Pittsburgh, feels like zero in a number of locations, and also feels like it's well below zero across the board. Hence those cold weather advisories. So kids getting on the bus, keep them in the car, the house, as long as you can, or maybe take them to school this morning because it's going to be just dangerously cold. We're talking single digits, maybe even a little below zero out there when that bus picks them up. When it brings them back, not much better, but at least not zero. 20, southwest winds 5 to 10. Again, plentiful sunshine today, just not a lot of warming taking place, upper teens and low 20s. Again, the wind's going to play a benefit to us. It's going to make it feel colder, but it will help our temperatures. Details on that, plus maybe some wintry weather here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. With the inauguration of President Donald Trump, the nation faces the possibility of new rules and policies. While some people support these positions, others strongly oppose them. KOAM's Lonnie Walton talks to locals about their hopes for the next 4 years.
Hope doesn't happen the most is I hope that he doesn't do his mass deportation plans.
Austin Reed is a treasurer for the Jasper County Democratic Committee. He says he's a little worried about what the next 4 years will bring this country.
There's so many mixed community households that people's families are going to be split up even more, even though he said we can deport all of them. Some of those people are naturalized U.S. citizens. They were born here.
Reed also says he's worried about the ones he loves.
My mom is a gay woman, and my stepmom is a gay woman. My little sister is a gay woman. There's a lot of people in my life that at least his social policy will affect greatly.
Susan Wagner is the Jasper County Democratic Central Committee chair, and she says,
we hope that this next 4 years we see the rule of law upheld, and the tenets of the Constitution upheld.
Local resident Cheryl McEwen says she's fine with the inauguration, but her biggest hope is the care for seniors.
Hoping that we can maintain a quality of life that we've had in the past. Hope that we get some additional benefits at no additional cost to us.
Speaking of money, both Wagner and Reed hope all funds are distributed equally.
I really do hope that the voters that voted for him get what they believe they're going to get from him. Lower prices of eggs and groceries. I hope he prioritizes that over giving tax cuts to the billionaire class.
Not going to be able to lower groceries as quickly as he claims he's going to.
Although no one knows what the future truly holds, Reed says it's not looking the best in his opinion.
Nothing, at least economically, is going to get better. More than likely it is going to get worse.
Reporting in Joplin, Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Reed says one of the best ways to support change is to get involved. The Gordon Parks Museum in Fort Scott, Kansas took a camera's eye look at the civil rights movement yesterday. The event, The Power of Imagery and Civil Rights Experience, explores the power of photography during the civil rights movement from pre-1900s to today. Ann Dean, who teaches photography at the Lawrence Art Center, hopes that people can bond through the shared experience.
It feels amazing, especially on this particular Martin Luther King Day. I feel very proud and honored to be able to share these stories, and my hope is that it just creates a sense of understanding and hope and camaraderie between all of us. What it was like to live.
The public was invited out to the free event, which also featured a barbecue lunch. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The major retailer Costco is facing a potential strike at dozens of its warehouses. And we have a cold and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, the immediate threat of the LA fires has subsided, but the rebuilding will take years. As a tourist, it can be difficult to know when to return to an area recovering from a disaster and how to handle a visit. Wendy Gillette offers some tips.
Los Angeles remains in emergency mode, with fires still burning and some residents just now seeing the devastation of their neighborhoods for the first time. But the majority of Los Angeles County was untouched, including the city of West Hollywood, where hotels, including the Pendry and Sunset Marquis, are offering special rates to displaced residents.
Los Angeles is still open. Our airports are fully functioning. There's still public transport going on. Obviously, there's been a lot of people across the country who have understandably postponed or canceled their trips right now.
It's never easy to decide when to reschedule. After the Maui wildfires almost a year and a half ago, Hawaii Governor Josh Green made an early call for tourists to return.
How soon after the fires did you ask people to come back?
For me, it was 1 month to the day after the fires.
At the time, it was a controversial decision.
It was controversial, but it was also very deliberate, because we learned the lesson in COVID that if you're not deliberate about what you can offer, then people stay confused and they don't know whether to travel back. They don't know if they're welcome.
The University of Hawaii estimates Maui was losing $13 million a day in spending before tourists returned. The state offered advice to visitors that's helpful after any wildfire. Stay away from affected areas, don't take pictures near burn zones, and be sensitive to what residents are experiencing.
If you're interacting with people in the tourism industry, be patient. Understand that there is a lot of angst that's happening right now.
It took a year for tourism to recover in Sonoma County, California, after the 2017 wildfires.
It's a scenario that we're all too familiar with, and we definitely know that the road to recovery is going to be a long one.
But those in the industry say tourism dollars are imperative to fund and speed up the process of recovery. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
Among the flurry of executive orders President Trump signed on his first day back in office was one directing the Justice Department not to enforce a TikTok ban for 2.5 months. The social media app temporarily shut down over the weekend, citing a law that would ban the app on January 19th unless it cut ties with Chinese parent company ByteDance. The law was recently upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court. The order also says Trump's administration will review sensitive intelligence around national security concerns related to TikTok. More than 18,000 Costco workers could walk off the job next month, according to the Teamsters. The union says 85% of its members voted in favor of a strike if there's no agreement on a new contract by January 31st. Workers are demanding better wages and benefits. Costco operates more than 600 warehouses across the U.S. and Puerto Rico. So far, the company has not responded to requests for comment. And the World Economic Forum kicked off in Davos, Switzerland yesterday. The gathering of world business and political leaders is expected to discuss several major topics, including trade, climate change, and artificial intelligence. President Trump is set to address the forum virtually later this week. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We're going to start with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, and you can see skies are clear. We do have the sun rising. It certainly looks nice. It is not feeling so nice out there. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin also looking pretty good this morning. At least the roads are clear, and you can see those clear roads from the KDOT camera 69 East 520th Avenue, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. Cold weather advisories across the entire area. Majority of them running through noon today. Oklahoma, Arkansas, they run through 10 a.m. That's because between now and then we could see and have seen wind chills upwards of 20 below zero. Heading into the afternoon, not a lot of warming taking place. Still another very cold day, but that southwest wind will eventually shift out of the south, and between that and that, it will play a role in increasing our temperatures a little bit over the next couple of days. But today it's just simply going to make it feel colder. Southwest breeze is going to keep our wind chills back into the teens through most of the afternoon, and eventually by 8. You see these temperatures not moving too much? That's because that warmer air, while we won't really notice it here at the surface, it's going to stop our temperatures from dropping tonight. We're going to hit our lows very likely around, say, 6, 7 o'clock this evening, and then temperatures will level out. 1 in Joplin right now, 0 in Pittsburgh. As we look at temperatures, and these are the temperatures around the region, it is 4 below 0 in Fort Scott. That's the air temperature. 1 below 0, Nevada, Parsons, Neodesha. 0s, Stockton, Lamar, Pittsburgh, Yates Center, and Sedan. So you kind of get the idea. It's bitterly cold. And even with a light breeze, it feels even colder. We've got wind chills upwards again. Stockton feels like it's 12 below out there. Majority of us wind chills below 0. We're going to have another look at your forecast in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, we will recap the inauguration and look ahead to President Trump's second term. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, so of course we did not have our 6 a.m. show yesterday, so of course that meant no birthdays or anniversaries yesterday. So we have put them together today, but we've split them up, make it a little easier. So we're going to start with birthdays that would have run yesterday.
Yes.
Had we been here at 6 a.m. And we are beginning in Chanute with Carter Pryor celebrating birthday number 9.
And in Dennis, a twin birthday for Savannah and Tegan Shaw turning 14. It says here, happy birthday, love mom, mom, and pop, pop.
And in Joplin, Brooklyn Rains celebrating birthday number 16. Says, happy sweet 16. We are proud of you. You are amazing and love you so much, Mom, Dad, and baby Gabriel.
And a happy 17th birthday to Isabella Wallen in Wyandotte. It says, happy birthday, love, family, and friends.
And in Pittsburgh, Faith Leonard celebrating birthday number 19. Happy birthday, Faith.
And in Chanute, a happy 21st birthday to Trenton Abbott.
And in Pittsburgh, we go to Kayla Meadows celebrating birthday number 31. Says, we love you, Kayla, from Mima, Gary, and Leanne.
And in La Harpe, a happy 43rd birthday to Justin Pritchard.
And in Melrose, Mary Reed celebrating birthday 54.
And in Fort Scott, David Camp celebrating birthday number 63. Happy birthday.
Judy Grant in Columbus yesterday, celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday, Judy.
And happy birthday to Theta Lucian.
Okay, so now these are all the birthdays again that were yesterday's birthdays, but again, we were not here at 6 a.m., the inauguration and all that stuff, changed our schedules. So those are yesterday's birthdays. Our list now continues with birthdays for today. And we're going to start in Chanute with Harrison Dale Allen celebrating birthday number 2. Says love Grammy, Papa John, and Uncle Carson.
And a happy 5th birthday to Walker James Thompson. It says love Mimi and Papa.
And we have Roger Rush. Now, I know it says Hudson McDonald. It is not. Things happen. But this is really Roger Rush from Jasper celebrating birthday number 50. So, Roger Rush,
yes,
happy 50th birthday.
And a happy 72nd birthday to Peggy Yarnell in Erie.
And now, this person, he is the real Hudson McDonald. And so if it was the other way around, then that would mean that Hudson McDonald is ageless or is a time traveler. But this is the real Hudson McDonald celebrating a birthday today. Says happy birthday from Pappy, Gimme, and the family.
And last but not least, happy birthday to Janine Robinson in Baxter Springs.
All right, we got that caught up. We got it all sorted. Hopefully that made sense for everybody. And of course, as you know, that we can't control our schedules, but we celebrate where and when we can. And we will continue to celebrate so long as you send us your birthdays and anniversaries. And at least where should they be sending those to?
Yes, go ahead and submit those wonderful birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration as well.
Certainly important to include all of that information. Now, let's talk about how cold it is. It's cold enough, actually. We have cold weather advisories. The bulk of the area, these run until noon today. But Oklahoma and Arkansas, they will expire at 10 a.m. And this is because we have already seen and could continue to see for a while this morning wind chills upwards of 20 below zero, which we have seen. Even though the winds are fairly light, the temperatures are cold enough that when it picks up even for a minute, it's making it feel a lot colder. Now, today it's going to be a very cold day. We'll have southwest winds through most of the day, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And with temperatures by noon only into the teens, you kind of get the idea why those cold weather advisories last as long as they do for many of us, because our wind chills are going to be bitterly cold. Single digits, maybe even still a bit below zero, even as late as noon. But we will have sunshine. We're getting the cold weather, still bitterly cold, but we have extra sunshine to go along with that. Now, I want to talk to you about the winds, because the winds, they're going to make it feel worse, but they're actually going to be doing something very beneficial for us behind the scenes. What is it, you ask? Well, they're bringing in slightly warmer air. Now, again, today, we're not going to notice that. In fact, the only thing we're going to notice from the winds is it's making it even colder outside, but take a look, and I want to show you. This is you can see it very clearly here. This is today, 5 p.m. Now, I'm going to press the button, and we're going to go from today at 5 p.m. to tomorrow at 5 a.m. We're going to go over 12 hours. Watch the temperatures on this map. Maybe pick the closest community to where you are and keep a close eye on them. It's not a magic trick, and I'm not trying to hide anything. They don't move much. Some of them don't move at all. Yes, a flurry or two possible tonight. You saw that on Future Track. That's not a big deal. The bigger deal is the fact that our temperatures are going to level out. In fact, many of us are very likely going to hit our low temperatures as early as 7 or 8 o'clock this evening in some cases, and then they'll just flatline. Temperatures will stay. And while the teens are still cold, it will put us 20 some odd degrees warmer tomorrow morning than where we are now. So a slightly warmer start tomorrow means a slightly warmer day. Now, we're going to have to deal with winds increasing tonight, out of the south gusting to 30. So that's what I'm saying. We're not going to notice the warmer air initially from these winds. We're just going to notice that the winds are worse and making it much colder. And it will still be breezy on Wednesday, but you can see temperatures for our Wednesday starting to go into the 30s. Unfortunately, no 30s out there this morning. Take a look. These are the temperatures. It is 4 below zero in Fort Scott, 1 below in Nevada, Iola, Parsons, and Neodesha. A lot of zeros, a lot of single digits, at least a little above zero. So even with those light breezes, though, we've got wind chills. Again, 12 below is what it feels like in Stockton, 10 below in Greenfield. It is bitterly cold. Most wind chills below zero this morning, so make sure you are bundling up. We'll have another look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as the news you need to know when we transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m. An 83-year-old man in Texas proves it's never too late to try something new.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. An explosion draws first responders to a house in Chanute yesterday afternoon. Emergency crews were dispatched to the 600 block of West 16th for a report of a structure fire with a possible explosion. We'll have more information as it develops on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A company hopes to create a facility using chicken waste to produce methane-based gas in Ottawa County. The facility would bring in the waste from local farmers, creating renewable natural gas as well as multiple forms of fertilizer. Environmental agencies say they worry about air pollution as well as ground and water contamination. Ottawa County residents are encouraged to submit public comments to the DEQ. And the Better Business Bureau wants to warn people ahead of the holiday that scammers use online dating and social media to take advantage of people looking for love. Pamela Hernandez, the regional director for the BBB office, says always be aware of red flags. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, bundle up. It is cold and it will not be much warmer today. Southwest winds 5 to 10, highs upper teens, low 20s. Now we're going to see slightly better temperatures tomorrow. It begins tonight, believe it or not. Those winds will actually hold our temperatures steady. I think most of us are going to reach our lows as early as 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening. However, winds will be gusting out of the south up to 30. It's going to put our wind chills dangerously cold tonight. Then we're into the upper 30s, breezy tomorrow. A couple of stray flurries possible Thursday. A little warmer into Friday and Saturday. We are keeping an eye on a wintry mix by Sunday, something we'll watch for you. And then we'll warm back up again as we head through the next work week. So just another very cold day, and then at least a little more seasonable weather.
Alrighty. And coming up today at noon, we're making crazy good rosemary chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next, from immigration to pardons and executive orders, John Dickinson discusses the aggressive agenda President Trump laid out at his inauguration.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, an elementary school is sending personalized cards to first responders and families affected by the recent California wildfires.
And Charlene Patton in the studio with another very healthy recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.